The stars looked different from Earth's orbital station. Ambassador Ethan Collins stared out the viewport, hands clasped behind his back. After 20 years in diplomatic service, this would be his final and most important mission. First contact. With the Galactic Council. Quite a view, isn't it? Captain Lisa Martinez stepped beside him. Her uniform was crisp, her posture perfect. Every inch the commander of Earth's newest vessel, the Defiant. I've seen Earth from space dozens of times, Collins said, but knowing we're about to meet representatives from 27 alien civilizations makes it feel smaller somehow. Martinez nodded. And more vulnerable. The invitation had come 3 weeks after humanity's first successful faster-than-light jump. A signal, aimed directly at Earth, with precise coordinates and a formal diplomatic greeting. The Galactic Council had been watching, waiting for humans to join the interstellar community. Ambassador, we're ready for the final briefing. The voice belonged to Lieutenant Daniel Garcia, head of security for the mission. His expression was serious, eyes constantly scanning for threats even here, in the safest place humans had ever built. Collins followed Garcia to the conference room where Director Alan Hoffman waited. The head of Earth's Unified Defense Force rarely smiled, and today was no exception. Ambassador, Hoffman said, standing as Collins entered. Please, sit. The room fell silent as Hoffman activated the secure display. Our intelligence suggests the Council's invitation isn't as straightforward as it seems. Several intercepted transmissions indicate significant disagreement among Council species regarding humanity's inclusion. Collins leaned forward. That's to be expected with any political body, isn't it? Different factions, different agendas. This goes beyond politics, Hoffman replied. Some messages suggest certain council members view humans as resources rather than potential allies. Martinez crossed her arms. I've been saying this from the beginning. The invitation came too quickly, too eagerly. Which is why, Hoffman continued, the Security Council has authorized the implementation of Protocol Alpha. The room went still. Protocol Alpha, nicknamed the Annihilation Protocol, was Earth's ultimate contingency plan, developed in secret since the first credible evidence of extraterrestrial intelligence. That's extreme, Collins said quietly. We have no concrete evidence of hostile intent. Hoffman's eyes were steel. It's not active, Ambassador. It's a safeguard. If diplomacy succeeds, as we all hope it will, no one need ever know it exists. Dr. Nicole Peterson, the mission's xenobiologist, cleared her throat. Director, my team has been studying the biological data the Council provided. There's something unusual about their interest in human genetics. They've requested far more detailed information than seems necessary for first contact protocols. What kind of information? Collins asked. Immune response patterns, cellular regeneration rates, neurological mapping. It's as if they're studying us for medical purposes rather than diplomatic ones. Collins rubbed his chin, thinking. His job was to represent humanity's best face, to secure Earth's position in the galactic community. But something didn't feel right. When do we depart? He asked finally. Tomorrow morning, Martinez replied. The Defiant is ready. Crew complement of 60, including your diplomatic team of 5. And what are my orders if things go wrong? Collins looked directly at Hoffman. Your priority is always the safety of our people. If diplomacy fails, get as many humans back to Earth as possible, Hoffman said. But before you leave Council space, transmit the code phrase Protocol Alpha. Just those 2 words. Our systems will recognize your voice pattern. And then Earth will respond accordingly. The next morning, the Defiant departed Earth's orbit. The ship was officially classified as a diplomatic vessel, but Martinez knew its true capabilities. Beneath the sleek exterior and diplomatic quarters lay weapon systems and defensive technology that humanity had kept hidden from the Council's initial scans. As they prepared for the first FTL jump, Collins stood on the bridge. How long until we reach the Council station? 4 jumps, about 7 days total, Martinez replied. Their Harmony Nexus station orbits a neutral star at the borders of 3 different Council species territories. The journey gave Collins time to study every piece of information Earth had on the Council. 27 species, each with their own worlds, cultures, and agendas, somehow unified under a single governing body for over 300 years. The accomplishment was impressive, but Collins kept returning to Hoffman's warning. On the fourth day, Garcia requested a private meeting with Collins and Martinez. "We've been monitoring Council communications since we entered their relay network," he said, his voice low despite the privacy field. "There's unusual activity around a facility in the Proxima sector. Several Council ships are converging there." "Military vessels?" Martinez asked. "Mixed. Some medical, some science, some definitely armed." Collins frowned. "Any mention of Earth or humans?" "Nothing direct, but there are encrypted channels we can't access. The timing seems suspicious." That night Collins couldn't sleep. He found himself in the ship's observation deck, watching the swirl of FTL space beyond the reinforced windows. The beauty of faster-than-light travel still amazed him, reality itself bending to human innovation. "Trouble sleeping?" Martinez joined him, offering a cup of coffee. "Just thinking about tomorrow. Our first actual alien encounter." Collins accepted the coffee gratefully. "Anxious?" "Cautious," Collins corrected. "Something about this doesn't feel right." Martinez leaned against the railing. "My father was in the old Navy. He used to say you could smell a storm coming before you saw the clouds. And what do you smell, Captain?" She looked out at the streaming stars. "Trouble." The final jump brought them into Council space proper. The Defiant dropped out of FTL, and there it was, the Harmony Nexus. The station was massive, easily 20 times larger than anything humans had built in space. Ring upon ring of gleaming metal surrounded a central hub, with thousands of lights indicating windows, docking bays, and observation platforms. And around it, a fleet of ships unlike anything Earth had ever seen. Vessels of all shapes and sizes representing the diversity of the Council itself. "Incoming transmission," the communications officer announced. "Text and audio translated." "On screen," Martinez ordered. A melodic voice filled the bridge. "Earth Vessel Defiant, this is Counselor Zixvex of the Galactic Council. On behalf of all member species, I welcome you to Harmony Nexus. Ambassador Collins, we await your arrival with great anticipation." Collins stepped forward. "Counselor Zixvex, this is Ambassador Ethan Collins. Earth is honored by your welcome. We come in peace and friendship, seeking to learn about our galactic neighbors." "Excellent," Zixvex replied. "A docking bay has been assigned to your vessel. Please follow the transmitted coordinates. Upon arrival, you and your primary team will be escorted to the Council chambers for formal introductions." As the transmission ended, Martinez turned to Collins. "Well, Ambassador, it seems you're about to make history." Collins nodded, but his eyes were on the massive station growing larger in the view screen. "Let's hope it's the kind of history our children will thank us for." The docking procedure was smooth despite the Defiant's crew having never approached an alien station before. Ambassador Collins watched through the viewport as mechanical arms guided their ship into place. Alien technology, yet somehow familiar in function. "Ready for this?" Lieutenant Garcia asked, checking his sidearm one last time before securing it in a diplomatic lockbox. The Council had been clear, no weapons allowed. "As ready as anyone can be to meet 27 alien species at once," Collins replied with a thin smile. The diplomatic team assembled near the airlock. Collins, Dr. Nicole Peterson, Lieutenant Garcia, and 2 junior diplomats. Captain Martinez would remain aboard the Defiant as protocol dictated. "Remember," Martinez said, "maintain an open channel at all times. If communication cuts off for more than 10 minutes, we initiate emergency protocols." Collins nodded. "Let's hope that won't be necessary." The airlock cycled, and they stepped into the Harmony Nexus. The air smelled different, not unpleasant, but with undertones of something like cinnamon and ozone. 3 figures waited for them. Ambassador Collins, the central figure, spoke in perfect English. The alien stood 7 feet tall with blue-gray skin and 4 arms. "I am Counselor Zixvex, your assigned liaison. Welcome to Harmony Nexus." Collins performed the diplomatic bow they had practiced. "Counselor, Thank you for your welcome. Earth is honored to join this gathering of civilizations. These are my assistants. Zixvex gestured to the smaller aliens flanking him. They will help your team settle into your quarters before the formal introduction. As they walked through the station's massive corridors, Collins tried not to stare at the variety of alien life forms they passed, beings with multiple limbs, some floating in personal atmosphere bubbles, others moving on what looked like mechanical tentacles. Your station is remarkable, Collins said, making conversation as they walked. How long did it take to build? Nearly 50 of your Earth years, Zixvex replied. It serves as our neutral meeting ground and the symbol of our united progress. Dr. Peterson was scanning discreetly with her medical device, hidden in what appeared to be a simple bracelet. Her eyes widened slightly at the readings, but she maintained her diplomatic composure. Their quarters were spacious and had been modified to accommodate human biology. The gravity, temperature, and lighting all matched Earth norms. The council will convene in 3 hours, Zixvex informed them. Until then, please rest and prepare. Your translator devices have been programmed with basic information about each council species. Once alone, the team gathered in Collins's room. Thoughts? Collins asked. Garcia spoke first. Security is tighter than they let on. I counted at least 6 different scanning systems as we walked through the corridors. Dr. Peterson? Collins turned to the xenobiologist. She activated her datapad. The biological diversity is astounding, but there's something else. She lowered her voice. Several species I scanned show signs of the same degenerative cellular condition. It's subtle, but consistent. A shared disease? Collins asked. Possibly. And... She hesitated. They were scanning us too, not just for weapons. Deep tissue scans, genetic sampling. Collins felt a chill. Director Hoffman's warnings echoed in his mind. Keep your observations to yourself for now, he instructed. Let's see what the council has to say first. The council chamber was a massive amphitheater. 27 raised platforms surrounded a central speaking area where Collins and his team now stood. Each platform held representatives of a different species. Some platforms contained water tanks, others specialized atmospheric conditions. Hi. Councillor Vrenthar, a tall skeletal being with metallic skin, called the session to order. Today marks a historic moment in council history. We welcome the representatives of Earth, the newest spacefaring species to reach faster-than-light capability. Speeches followed from various council members, each welcoming humanity in their own way. Collins noted that while most seemed genuinely interested, a few representatives exchanged glances that suggested private communications were happening behind the scenes. When it was Collins' turn to speak, he delivered Earth's prepared message of peace and cooperation. Humanity comes with open hands and open minds, eager to learn and share with our galactic neighbors. The formal introduction ended with a reception where Collins and his team mingled with various council representatives. Dr. Peterson found herself speaking with a medical officer from a species called the Trellix. Your biological adaptability is remarkable, the Trellix doctor commented. Humans heal at rates uncommon among oxygen breathers. We've evolved on a rather challenging planet, Peterson replied carefully. Adaptability has been key to our survival. Across the room, Collins was speaking with a reptilian diplomat when he noticed Lieutenant Garcia being drawn into a side chamber by a council security officer. His instincts told him something was wrong. Excuse me, Collins said to the reptilian, making his way toward the side chamber. Before he could reach it, Counselor Zixvex intercepted him. Ambassador, there's someone very important who wishes to meet you privately. My security officer is being briefed on station security protocols, Zixvex assured him. Standard procedure. Collins reluctantly followed Zixvex to a small chamber off the main reception hall. Inside waited High Counselor Vrenthar, Ambassador Collins. Vrenthar's voice was deeper in person. I wish to speak with you directly, without the formalities of the chamber. I'm honored, Collins said cautiously. Your species has achieved faster-than-light travel much sooner than we anticipated, Vrenthar stated. It suggests a certain resilience in your kind. Humanity has always been driven to explore, Collins replied. And to survive, Vrenthar added. Tell me, Ambassador, how much did your government share with you about why we were so quick to invite Earth to join us? Collins felt his pulse quicken. They shared all relevant information. Vrenthar made a sound like metal scraping against glass, possibly laughter. Then they know as little as you do. Hours later, back in their quarters, Collins gathered his team. Lieutenant Garcia had returned, looking troubled. They separated me to extract information, Garcia reported. Their questions focused on Earth's medical capabilities, population demographics. Dr. Peterson connected her datapad to the room's display. I've confirmed my earlier findings. Many council species are suffering from the same cellular deterioration. And look at this. She pulled up a comparison. These are human cellular samples they took without our knowledge compared to samples from affected council species. The difference was stark. Where alien cells showed signs of breakdown, human cells remained robust. They're dying, Peterson said simply, and they think we might be the cure. Collins stared at the data. We need to report this to Earth immediately. When he tried to establish a secure channel to the Defiant, the communication system failed to connect. Ambassador, Garcia said, checking the door, we're locked in. Through the window, Collins saw the Defiant surrounded by Council security vessels. Captain Martinez's face appeared briefly on their emergency channel, her voice breaking through static. Collins, they're attempting to... The transmission cut off. A soft chime announced an incoming message. Counselor Zixvex's face appeared on the screen. Ambassador, I must apologize for the deception, the alien said, looking genuinely regretful. But the Council's survival takes precedence over diplomatic niceties. Your species holds the key to saving billions of lives across Council space. And you couldn't simply ask for our help? Collins demanded. Would you have given it if you knew? The price? Zixvex asked. The treatment process is not survivable for the donor species. The screen went blank. Collins turned to his team, his expression grim. It seems, he said quietly, that we may need to activate Protocol Alpha after. Oh. Morning came with the harsh sound of the door sliding open. 6 armed guards entered the room, their weapons trained on Collins and his team. Ambassador Collins, one guard announced, your presence is required in the council chamber. Garcia stepped forward. Under what authority are we being detained? The guard ignored him. The ambassador only. The rest will remain here. Collins gave his team a reassuring nod. I'll handle this. Dr. Peterson, continue your analysis. Lieutenant, protect our people. The guards escorted Collins through corridors now empty of the diverse life forms he had seen the day before. The station felt colder, more threatening. They entered not the grand amphitheater from yesterday, but a smaller, circular room with a raised platform in the center. Around the edges sat 12 council members, including High Counselor Vrenthar and Counselor Zixvex. Ambassador Collins, Vrenthar's metallic voice echoed. You stand before the Security Council, a subset of our full governing body. Am I on trial? Collins asked, his voice steady despite his racing heart. This is an inquiry into actions taken by Earth forces, Vrenthar replied. Your vessel attempted to transmit unauthorized communications to your homeworld. My captain was following protocol after our detention, Collins stated firmly. Supreme Counselor Krell Zor, a being shrouded in misty blue light, spoke next. Ambassador, we face an unprecedented crisis. A plague affects 17 of our 27 member species. It is slow but unstoppable, causing cellular deterioration over decades. And you believe humans hold the cure, Collins said. So you plan to harvest us without our consent. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Not all council members agreed with this approach, Zixvex said softly. Some of us advocated for honest negotiation. Yet here we are, Collins replied. My team imprisoned, my ship surrounded. Vrenthar leaned forward. Your species is new to the galactic community. You number only in billions, while council species number in the trillions. The math is simple. There is nothing simple about genocide, Collins shot back. The word hung in the air. Some council members shifted uncomfortably. Krelzor's misty form pulsed. We would not take all humans. Just enough to develop treatments. Your species would survive. As cattle, Collins said. As a resource to be harvested when needed. As a valued member of the galactic community, Vrenthar countered. Protected, guided, allowed to develop within reasonable bounds. Collins looked around the chamber, meeting alien eyes. And if Earth refuses? Earth has no choice, Vrenthar stated. Your ship is contained. No warning has reached your planet. When our medical fleet arrives at Earth in 14 days, your leaders will face the same choice you do now. Controlled cooperation or forced collection. Collins felt cold rage building inside him. You should know something about humans before you make this decision. We have studied your broadcasts, your literature, Krelzor said dismissively. Then you know we have a long history of fighting against overwhelming odds, Collins replied. Of facing extinction and surviving. Earth will not submit. Brave words, Vrenthar said, but ultimately meaningless. Back in the Defiant, Captain. Martinez worked frantically with her communications officer, Kate Williams. Any progress breaking through their jamming? Martinez asked. Williams shook her head. They've blocked all standard channels, but... She hesitated. There might be another way. Explain. The Council communication system uses quantum entanglement for instant messaging across their territory, Williams said. If we can piggyback on their system during a routine transmission, do it, Martinez ordered. Priority message to Director Hoffman. Use encryption protocol 7. In the detention room, Dr. Peterson showed Lieutenant Garcia what she had discovered. The Council medical database has gaps in security, she whispered. I accessed their research files. They've been studying humans since our first radio transmissions reached their listening posts. How long have they known about us? Garcia asked. Over 100 years, Peterson replied. They've been monitoring our development, waiting for us to reach space. Like farmers waiting for a crop to ripen, Garcia said bitterly. In the council chamber, the interrogation continued. Collins stood defiant as council members debated his fate and that of humanity. The ambassador's obstruction cannot be tolerated, Vrenthar insisted. He must be made an example of. A public trial would be appropriate, another counselor suggested, to demonstrate our commitment to justice. There is no time for lengthy procedures, Krelzor stated. The medical fleet is already underway, to Earth. We must show humans the consequences of defiance before they arrive. Collins listened to them discuss his execution as if he weren't present. His thoughts raced, trying to find a way to warn Earth. On Earth, Director Hoffman received Martinez's encoded message. His face grew pale as he read the details of the Council's true intentions. Verify this, he ordered his staff, then assemble the Security Council immediately. Within hours, Earth's highest military and political leaders gathered in the underground command center. The evidence is conclusive, Hoffman told them. The Galactic Council plans to harvest humans for medical purposes. They've imprisoned our diplomatic team and surrounded our ship. Can we establish communication with the ambassador? Asked Secretary of Defense John Rivera. Negative, Hoffman replied. All direct channels are blocked. General Michelle Adams studied the tactical display. Their medical fleet will reach Earth in 13 days. What are our options? We can attempt negotiation when they arrive. One politician suggested. That would be suicide, Hoffman said flatly. They've already shown their true intentions. Then we fight, Rivera stated. We deploy everything we have. Our conventional forces would be no match for their technology, Adams countered. Hoffman took a deep breath. There is one option. Ambassador Collins included a code phrase in his last partial transmission before being cut off. Protocol Alpha, Rivera said quietly. The room fell silent. Are we seriously considering this? A civilian leader asked. The Annihilation protocol was designed as a last resort. That's exactly where we are, Hoffman replied. Last resort. In the council chamber, Collins was brought before the full assembly. All 27 species were represented, their platforms arranged in a circle around him. Ambassador Ethan Collins, of Earth, Supreme Counselor Krelzor announced. You have been found guilty of obstruction, espionage, and incitement to rebellion against the Galactic Council. I've committed no crime, Collins stated. I've defended my people against your plans for harvest and exploitation. His words were broadcast throughout Council space. On the Defiant, Captain Martinez and her crew watched in horror. Krelzor continued, the sentence for these crimes is death, to be carried out immediately as a message to Earth. Martinez sprang to her feet. We have to do something. Williams looked up from her console. Captain, I'm detecting a small opening in their communication blockade. It won't last long. Can you get a message to Earth? Williams nodded. A short one, maybe just a few words. That's all we need, Martinez said grimly. Send this. Collins executed, Protocol Alpha confirmed. Add my authentication code. In the council chamber, Collins stood tall as guards approached with restraints. Before you kill me, he said, his voice carrying across the chamber and to all receiving the broadcast, know this. Earth will not fall easily. We've faced extinction before, at our own hands, and from natural disasters. Each time we've emerged stronger. Bold words from a primitive species, Vrenthar sneered. Collins smiled. It was not a pleasant expression. You've just signed your own extinction order. The execution was swift. As Collins' body fell to the chamber floor, a murmur ran through the assembly. Some seemed disturbed by the proceedings, others satisfied. None noticed the subtle signal embedded in Collins' last moments, a blinking pattern with his eyes that Communications Officer Williams caught and understood immediately. Protocol Alpha, she whispered. I repeat, Protocol Alpha. On Earth, Director Hoffman received the confirmation. With a heavy heart, he entered his authorization code. May God forgive us, he said as he pressed the final key. Across Earth, hidden facilities hummed to life. In deep space, stealth satellites activated. The Annihilation protocol had begun. Alarms blared throughout the Harmony Nexus as its systems continued to fail. In the Council's Emergency Command Center, Supreme Counselor Krelzor faced the grim reality of their situation. Report, Krelzor demanded. 70% of all systems are compromised, a technician replied. Defense grids are offline. Communications with our fleet are limited to light-speed transmissions only. High Counselor Vrenthar slammed his metallic fist on the console. How is this possible? Humans are a primitive species. Apparently not, Krelzor said quietly. We have gravely underestimated them. On a nearby screen, a warning flashed. Sensors detected multiple ships emerging from Earth's lunar shadow. Ships far larger and more advanced than the Defiant. Magnify, ordered Krelzor. The image showed a fleet of sleek black vessels. Their design was clearly human, but generations beyond what the Council believed Earth capable of producing. At the center of the formation was a massive ship, easily twice the size of the Council's largest battlecruiser. The humans call it the Judgment, said a voice from the doorway. Counselor Zixvex entered, escorted by Lieutenant Garcia and Dr. Peterson. Both humans held Council weapons. Traitor, Vrenthar hissed. No, Zixvex replied. I am trying to prevent the extinction of our species, all our species. In the detention level, chaos reigned as the power fluctuations released the magnetic locks on several cells. Captain Martinez led a team from the Defiant through the corridors, freeing the remaining human diplomats. This way, Martinez ordered. The docking bay is 2 levels down. What about the other prisoners? One of the diplomats asked, pointing to cells containing members of various species. Martinez hesitated only briefly. Free them all. No one deserves to be imprisoned by this council. As they fought their way back to the ship, Martinez's communicator crackled to life. Captain, Lieutenant Garcia's voice came through. We've secured the main control room. Dr. Peterson is with me. And we have Counselor Zixvex, who wants to defect. Understood, Martinez replied. Meet us at the ship. In Earth orbit, Admiral. Laura Bennett stood on the bridge of the Judgment watching as the human fleet spread out in perfect formation. After years of secret construction, humanity's true military power was finally revealed. "All ships report ready, Admiral," her first officer announced. "Begin Phase 2, Bennett ordered. "Disabled their outposts in our solar system, but no casualties if possible. I want prisoners for interrogation." The fleet moved with precision that would have been impossible without the advanced AI systems Earth had developed in secret. Weapons that the Council had never seen before lashed out, cutting through alien shields as if they were paper. On Earth, Dr. Carter monitored the battle from his command center. "The nanites have achieved 95% infiltration of Council systems," he reported to Director Hoffman. "Their entire defense network is compromised." Hoffman nodded. "And the medical fleet heading to Earth?" "Disabled," Carter confirmed. "Their engines were the first systems we targeted. They're drifting in deep space now." Secretary Rivera studied the tactical display. "What about the Harmony Nexus? Our people are still there." "The Defiant is preparing to depart," Carter said. "And Admiral Bennett's fleet will reach the station in less than an hour." Rivera looked troubled. "Is all this necessary? The Council's fleet is already disabled." "They tried to harvest our species," Hoffman replied grimly. "We need to ensure they can never threaten Earth again." On the Harmony Nexus, the Defiant prepared for emergency departure. The diplomatic team, along with Dr. Peterson, Lieutenant Garcia, and their unexpected ally counselor Zixvex, rushed aboard. "Everyone accounted for?" Martinez asked as the airlock sealed. "All present," Garcia confirmed. "Plus one defector." Martinez nodded to Zixvex. "We'll sort out your status when we reach Earth. For now, strap in." As the Defiant pulled away from the station, they could see other Council ships doing the same, smaller species fleeing the coming human wrath. "Open a channel to Admiral Bennett," Martinez ordered. Bennett's face appeared on screen. "Captain Martinez, good to see you alive." "The diplomatic team is secure," Martinez reported, "and we have Council members who oppose their government's actions." "Understood. Rendezvous with the Judgment at coordinates I'm sending now. The rest of the fleet will continue to the Nexus." In the Council Command Center, Supreme Counselor Krelzor watched in horror as the tactical display showed the human fleet approaching. Their weapons had already disabled every defensive satellite around the station. "We must negotiate," Krelzor said, turning to Vrenthar. "Send a surrender message." "Surrender?" Vrenthar's voice rose in outrage. "To a lesser species? To a species that has proven itself far more advanced and dangerous than we ever imagined?" Krelzor replied, "If we wish any of our people to survive, we have no choice." The transmission was sent on all frequencies. The Galactic Council officially surrendered to Earth. When Admiral Bennett's fleet arrived at the Harmony Nexus, they found the station's weapons powered down and hangar doors open. Supreme Counselor Krelzor personally met the human delegation in the same chamber where Ambassador Collins had been executed. "Earth's demands are simple," Admiral Bennett stated. "The immediate dissolution of the current Council leadership, reparations to Earth for the murder of our ambassador, and a new treaty that recognizes human sovereignty and our full control of Sol system." "And if we refuse?" Vrenthar asked from the side of the room. Bennett's expression remained cold. "Then we demonstrate the full capabilities of the Judgment-class vessels. Your scientists may have noticed they carry what we call dimensional disruptors. One such device could reduce this entire station to atoms." 3 days later, aboard the Judgment, Captain Martinez stood with Admiral Bennett as they received a transmission from Earth. Director Hoffman's face appeared on screen. "The Council remnants have signed our treaty," Hoffman reported. "Their medical fleet has been escorted back to their territory, and Counselor Zixvex has provided invaluable intelligence on Council species who oppose the plan to harvest humans." "What about a cure for their plague?" Martinez asked. "Dr. Peterson is working with our scientists," Hoffman replied. "She believes we can develop a treatment that doesn't require human sacrifice. We'll offer it as a gesture of good faith to the new Council leadership." Admiral Bennett nodded. "And Ambassador Collins?" His body is being returned to Earth for a hero's funeral. His family has been informed of his sacrifice. On the day of Colin's funeral, billions around the world watched as his casket, draped in Earth's flag, was carried by an honor guard. Director Hoffman stood at the podium, addressing not just humanity but representatives from 17 council species who had come to pay respects. Ambassador Collins gave his life defending our species, Hoffman said solemnly. But his death also marked a turning point in galactic history. Earth will no longer be seen as a backward planet on the edge of the galaxy, but as a leader in a new era of interstellar cooperation. He looked at the alien representatives before continuing. The Annihilation Protocol was created as a last resort, a way to ensure humanity's survival against overwhelming odds. We never wanted to use it. But now that we have revealed our true capabilities, let us hope it never needs to be used again. As the ceremony ended, Captain Martinez stood with Dr. Peterson and Lieutenant Garcia, watching the sunset. "Do you think the council learned their lesson?" Garcia asked quietly. Martinez nodded. "I think the entire galaxy has learned an important lesson. Never underestimate humanity." Peterson smiled sadly. Ambassador Collins would be proud. His sacrifice showed the galaxy who we really are. "And who are we?" Garcia asked. Martinez looked up at the stars, now no longer distant and unreachable. "We are humanity," she said simply. "We prepare for the worst, hope for the best, and never, ever surrender." News of Ambassador Collins's execution spread across Earth like wildfire. Video of his final moments, transmitted by the Council as a warning, instead united humanity in a way nothing had before. Old enemies set aside differences. Political divides disappeared overnight. Earth stood as one. Director Hoffman watched from the command center as protests erupted outside Council trade outposts on Earth. They had allowed 5 small diplomatic stations before the Defiance mission. Now those stations were surrounded by angry crowds. "Sir," a young officer reported, "the alien diplomats are requesting emergency evacuation." "Let them wait," Hoffman replied coldly. "Just like they made Ambassador Collins wait." Secretary of Defense John Rivera entered the room. "The President has authorized full implementation of Protocol Alpha. All military branches are on highest alert." "And Project Nemesis?" Hoffman asked. "Dr. Eric Carter has been notified. The systems are coming online now." On the main screen, Dr. Carter's face appeared. The chief scientist of humanity's most secret weapons program looked like he hadn't slept in days. "Director Secretary," Carter greeted them. "The activation sequence is proceeding. Phase 1 will be complete in 6 hours. "Explain the phases again," Rivera requested, for those of us who weren't fully briefed. Carter nodded. "Phase 1 activates. The dormant nanite swarms our exploration vessels have been secretly deploying throughout Council space for the past year." "A year?" Rivera asked, surprised. "We only made first contact 3 weeks ago." "Officially, yes," Hoffman said. "But we detected their observation post near Saturn 5 years ago. We've been preparing ever since." Carter continued. "The nanites will disable their communications and defense systems. Phase 2 deploys our stealth fleet from the far side of the moon. Phase 3, he paused. Phase 3 reveals our true capabilities." Aboard the Harmony Nexus, Captain Martinez and her crew remained confined to the Defiant. Council security vessels maintained a tight formation around the ship. "Any word from the diplomatic team?" Martinez asked Lieutenant Williams. "Nothing since the execution," Williams replied quietly. "They're still being held separately." Martinez stared out the viewport at the alien ships. "How long until the communications blackout ends?" "They're allowing 1 transmission every 12 hours. Next window opens in 40 minutes. "Good. Be ready to transmit all the data Dr. Peterson sent us before they cut us off. Earth needs to know exactly what we're facing." In their detention, Cell Dr. Peterson and Lieutenant Garcia had been working tirelessly. Using a medical scanner hidden in Peterson's equipment, they had managed to access the cell's environmental controls. "If I can just reconfigure this," Peterson whispered. We might be able to send a signal through the station's power grid. To whom? Garcia asked. The Defiant is being monitored. Not to the ship, Peterson replied. To the station itself. I've been studying their network architecture. There are security vulnerabilities we can exploit. Garcia looked impressed. You're not just a doctor, are you? Peterson gave a faint smile. I had additional training before this mission. Director, Hoffman suspected something like this might happen. In the Council's main chamber, Supreme Counselor Krelzor addressed the representatives. The execution of the human ambassador has been broadcast to Earth, Krelzor announced. Our medical fleet will arrive there in 12 days. By then, their leaders will understand resistance is futile. Counselor Zixvek stood. Supreme Counselor, I must formally object to these proceedings. The treatment of Ambassador Collins violated our own laws regarding diplomatic immunity. Your objection is noted, Krelzor said dismissively. But the Security Council's decision is final. And what of the human vessel and remaining diplomats? Another counselor asked. High Counselor Vrenthar answered. The diplomats will be used for initial medical testing. The ship's crew will be detained until our operation on Earth is complete. Zixvex looked horrified. This goes against everything the Council stands for. We are supposed to be protectors of galactic civilization, not predators. We protect civilization by ensuring its survival, Vrenthar replied coldly. 17 member species face extinction without the human genetic material. There must be another way, Zixvex insisted. The decision is made, Krelzor stated with finality. As the meeting ended, Zixvex hurried down a private corridor. The counselor entered a secure communication chamber and activated a special frequency. This is Counselor Zixvex, the alien said urgently. I need to speak with the human government immediately. I wish to defect. On Earth, the first signs of the Annihilation protocol became visible. Hidden military bases around the planet revealed themselves as massive sections of ground slid away, exposing launch platforms. In orbit, satellites that had appeared to be weather or communication stations transformed, weapon systems emerging from concealed compartments. General Michelle Adams stood in the Lunar Command Center, watching as crews prepared the hidden fleet. Ships larger and more advanced than anything Earth had publicly acknowledged moved out of their concealed hangars inside the moon. Status report, Adams commanded. All vessels at 96% readiness, General, her aide reported. The Justice-class destroyers are fully armed and staffed. The Retribution carriers have loaded all fighters. The Judgment battleships are powering up main weapons. Adams nodded. And the special package? The dimensional disruptors are installed on all primary vessels. They've never been field tested, but Dr. Carter assures us they'll work. In his laboratory deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Carter monitored the activation of the nanite swarms. Billions of microscopic machines deployed by Earth's supposedly primitive exploration vessels, now awakened throughout Council space. Nanite Cluster Alpha responding, a technician reported. Beta through Epsilon also online. Waiting for your command, sir. Carter took a deep breath. Initiate Protocol Alpha Phase 1. Across Council space, the invisible attack began. Communication relays faltered. Defense grids flickered and failed. Weapon systems reported phantom targets. The nanites, each one a marvel of engineering too advanced for the Council to have suspected, systematically disabled the galaxy's most powerful civilization. On the Harmony Nexus, alarms sounded as systems failed one after another. What's happening? Vrenthar demanded, rushing into the control center. Unknown, High Counselor, a technician replied frantically. We're experiencing cascade failures across all networks. Communication with the medical fleet has been lost. Restore it immediately. We're trying, but something is attacking our systems at the molecular level. Vrenthar's metallic face couldn't show emotion, but his voice betrayed his shock. That's impossible. No species has that technology. In their cell, Peterson and Garcia felt the station shudder as primary systems failed. Now's our chance, Peterson said. The security fields will be at minimum power during the reset. Garcia nodded. Let's find the others and get to the ship. On the Defiant, Martinez felt the change as the Council vessels surrounding them suddenly broke formation, their lights flickering. "What's happening?" she asked. Williams looked up from her console, a smile spreading across her face. "It's Earth, Captain. Protocol Alpha has begun." Martinez straightened her uniform. "Prepare the engines. The moment their tractor beams fail, we make a break for it." "And the diplomatic team?" Martinez's expression hardened. "We'll get them if we can, but our primary mission now is to return to Earth with everything we've learned." She looked out at the suddenly vulnerable alien vessels. "The Council thought they were dealing with a primitive species," she said quietly. "They're about to learn how wrong they were,